Hey, it's Micah. This question comes from Sick. I read that you spent 40 days working 15 hours a day to produce one of your animations. Do you have periods where you just can't get anything right, have no ideas, and think all your previous work and ideas suck? How do you get through those slumps? Also, I assume there's a lot of painstaking work involved in animation that is really dull. How do you motivate yourself to get it done once the fun stuff is over? Well, honestly, animation is pretty terrible. The process of it, it's very, very difficult and I hate it, but I'm just kidding. But actually, I'm dead serious. Animation is super time consuming and difficult. I don't know why anyone would want to do it. Don't do animation. Just don't do drugs. But in all honesty, all joking aside, animation is really hard and it is terrible in a way, but it's worth it in the end to see all those drawings come to life. And also, the process is different for everyone. Some people do more limited style of animation where they can produce funny stuff quicker, and it just depends on your style, what you're going for, and also the subject matter, uh, how much of an emphasis there is on narrative and story. One thing I like about music videos is it tends to allow for experimentation and to make what would be considered mistakes in a conventional type of storytelling, such as a movie. But if in animation you can have, you know, anything happen, you can ignore the laws of physics. Characters can grow and shrink, defy gravity, and it's all up to you, depending on the laws of the world that you're operating in. You can do anything and it'll be accepted. But for a music video, since it's only a few minutes, audiences tend to be more accepting of the really wild and bizarre stuff. Whereas if it was 80 minutes of really wild and bizarre stuff, it might just make people numb and sick to their stomachs and want something that has more substance. So I guess to answer your question, how to stay motivated, well, part of it is the guilt of not getting anything done. So you want to avoid feeling guilty, so you have to work on stuff. And the other thing is the reward of actually having it done and being able to look at a finished product from all your hard work. That's always fun to look back on years later and see something you made. And sometimes you forget how hard it was to make it, but so you're left with the product, you're not left with all the pain and sweat. This question comes from The Chosen One. Would you make an independent story-driven animation series one day? Something like Over the Garden Wall, Gravity Falls, or Adventure Time? I'm trying to work on short comics, 2-page stories, to get in the habit of having a beginning, middle, and end, and telling a coherent story from start to finish, before I tackle trying to make some kind of big series. But that's definitely something I'm interested in, because with comics you can tell a fleshed out story and have character arcs and philosophical concepts and explore ideas over a large span of time, and you can produce this world much more quickly than you could as a one-man studio making animation, where it would take months just to make a few minutes of content. So when it comes to storytelling, I'm definitely gravitating towards using the comic medium to try to tell stories. Nia Cinder asks, did you go to art school? If so, did you have a teacher that didn't like your style of drawing? I never went to art school, or any kind of school for that matter. In high school, I had a really good art teacher who always encouraged me to experiment, and he gave me general ideas, such as make a drawing that has the five senses, that communicates what it's like to have the five senses. But then as far as the visual style, I could do whatever I wanted, just as long as it communicated some type of theme and that everyone in the class had to do. So that got me thinking creatively about stuff. And Patchouli Moon asks, if you had a chance to animate a video for a Radiohead song, which song would you choose and why? Probably 2 plus 2 equals 5, because I read 1984 in ninth grade when I started doing terrible at math, when math got really hard. So I'd always write 2 plus 2 equals 5 on my homework to try to be a rebel. And also the song, it starts out really creepy and slow and weird, and then it explodes into this energetic second half. And I think that would be a really cool music video, to have like a bunch of drones in school being brainwashed by math, and then they just overrun the school. That'd be pretty cool. Eric Skolovic asks, how do you balance your visual aesthetic with the narrative of the pieces you're making? Honing your instincts. If something feels off to you, trust your gut. Walk away for a bit, recharge your batteries, observe everything that you watch, think critically about what you consume, ask yourself questions. What do you like about a film and why? What would you change differently if you were in charge? Building observational skills is half the battle in producing animation. It's not just about producing content, but thinking over the content that you consume. So this will train your instincts to take care of you when you make your own stuff. Matthew Ayer asks, how much of your day is drawing and how much of it is putting ideas together? Well, most of my ideas come about through the creative process itself. So when I'm just drawing and doodling and letting my arm aimlessly wander across the surface, images emerge and give me ideas to flesh out. When I get stuck on an animation, I find that when I simply walk for an hour or so and forget about the problem, a solution will come to me. Sitting all day isn't healthy. Our brains need to be pumped up with blood. So walking is a easy solution. Your mind can daydream, and being bored and daydreaming is vital to coming up with ideas. Sorry. I have insomnia and my voice is giving out. Oh boy. I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. Being bored. Don't be afraid to be bored, because being bored and daydreaming is vital to coming up with ideas. People who keep their minds stimulated at all times are afraid of silence or being bored. They tend not to have any ideas. Downtime is necessary. Lucky Stuff asks, have you ever astral projected? Well, 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 well. Oh, well. Lucid dreaming is the closest I've gotten to astral projecting. Juo Muyo asks, are you into Buddhism? I guess you are somewhat, but you should definitely go read or at least listen to their teachings. I feel agitated often. So some of the stuff I read from Zen Buddhism has helped just mindfulness and paying attention to your breath and detaching yourself from your emotions, as in not identifying as the emotion you're feeling, but separating yourself from what you're feeling in a non-judgmental way has definitely helped. Simply focusing on my breath calms me down. Usually when I'm trying to concentrate on a project and something loud interrupts me, I feel crazy. Loud things stress out my nervous system. I'm more of a cat person than a dog person, because cats don't run up on the road and bark at you, and they're just really cute and soft, and I like chubby cats the best because, well, in a way, cats are just using us because they're so cute. They're hijacking our brains. They're taking over our guardian instincts to protect, because their faces, the proportions of their faces are like babies. They're like human infants with these big eyes and little noses. And they look like babies. So that's why we're so nice to them. They're just using us. If they looked like rats, then we wouldn't like them as much. But I kind of like rats too, though. But I'm done. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna start doing Q&As every Friday. So ask me some questions and I'll draw another video and answer more questions. Thanks for watching.